the keeper of the in-between.
On her 16th birthday, Hecate stood at the peak of the Star Mount, her obsidian crown heavy with the weight of her destiny. Stellara, her mother, touched her cheek one last time, her hands smelling of ozone and starlight. The world of the gods is too bright, and the world of men too fleeting, Stellara whispered. You must find the place where they overlap. With a nod, Hecate turned away from the celestial heights, her 2 torches burning with a steady, quiet flame. By 18, Hecate's name was whispered at every crossroads in the mortal realm. She met a young traveler named Mistral, who sat weeping where 3 roads met, unable to find the path back to her village. Hecate did not simply point the way. She raised her torches, and the smoke curled into the shape of a shimmering map. She taught Mistral that the right path isn't always the easiest, but the one that feels like coming home. At 20, Hecate felt a cold draft rising from the cracks in the earth. The spirits of the air were no longer enough for her. She heard the muffled cries of those who had passed beyond the veil. Accompanied by her faithful hound, Nyxos, she tracked the chill to the mouth of a jagged cavern. Nyxos growled, his silver eyes flashing in the gloom, sensing a realm where the sun never dared to reach. Long and silent, Hecate walked for days through tunnels of basalt and weeping salt. She realized her magic was changing. The fire of her torches turned from orange to a piercing, ghostly violet. She was no longer just a girl of the stars. The weight of the deep earth was settling into her bones, tempering her spirit like steel in a forge. At 23, she reached the iron gates of the Silent Kingdom. There stood Plauton, the somber lord of the depths, his face like carved granite. He barred her way, for no living soul was permitted to walk the fields of the dead. Hecate did not flinch. She raised her torches, showing him that she carried the light of the stars into his shadow, a bridge between what was and what will be. Plauton recognized the power of the thresholds in her eyes. He did not ask her to leave. Instead, he offered her a heavy ring of silver keys. Guard the gates, he commanded. Be the one who greets the lost and ensures the balance is kept. Hecate accepted the keys, their cold metal humming against her palm. She was 24, and she had become the warden of the most important door of all. Years passed, and Hecate grew into the fullness of her wisdom. When she was 27, a goddess named Ceresia came to the crossroads, her clothes torn and her fields barren. Ceresia wailed for her lost daughter, her grief so profound it threatened to wither the world. Hecate listened, not with her ears, but with the magic of the in-between, hearing the echo of the girl's footsteps in the deep places. Hecate led Ceresia down into the dark, her torches acting as the only beacon in the absolute night. She guided the mourning mother through the labyrinth of the soul, protecting her from the shadows that hungered for life. At 28, Hecate realized her true purpose. She was the torchbearer, the one who walked beside the broken until they found their way to the light again. By her 29th year, Hecate's power had tripled. She could see the past, the present, and the future as clearly as the 3 roads of her favorite crossing. She stood with Nyxos under a lunar eclipse, feeling the pulse of the universe in her veins. She was no longer a student of magic. She was the magic itself, a weaver of ghosts and a mistress of the moon. At 30, Hecate stood at the center of the world. She was the goddess of the crossroads, the lady of the night, and the guardian of the keys. She looked back at the girl who caught falling sparks and smiled. The mist was no longer a place to fear, but her home. With her torches bright and her heart steady, she waited at the threshold, ready to guide the next soul into